welcome to another vlog. Kaylee opened it this time, huh? She's been out here keeping me company wanting to play. Welcome to June 1st. I'm giving the date so I know when I started filming this vlog. Today is the official last day of my vacation. Starting tomorrow, June 2nd, I am on the road for the next 17 weekends. Back to doing produce again. We've been slightly busy, and I forgot the selfie stick again. I gotta remember to grab the selfie stick, so you're getting an old-fashioned camera holding. So wonky camera angles and looks up my nose and on the ceiling. And we've been busy. We've had West Coast has come and gone. And we had a ball there, and I uploaded a bunch of videos on that, so you guys kind of know how things went for me over on West Coast. Last week, couple of weeks, I've been working on that over there, which is another logo light box we had an order in. That's going to be getting shipped out on Monday. And I figured it's about time I get back in to the mausoleum build again. Last vlog on the mausoleum, we got out here and we got the boxes for the pillars done, and I got the lintel for the entrance done. I should have the lintel for the exit done as well, and I haven't really done squat on it other than the plywood here. I got 2 sheets cut out to the length I need. I need to get my pattern drawn on it next, and as you can see up here on the plywood, I've got one of the rafters for the mausoleum, and I'm doing this in a different style, a little bit simpler style than what I did the other lintel at. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to follow the lines of the top of the mausoleum, aka the rafters. So, and give it a little bit more simple of a look. It'll have carved foam on it, what have you. I might rig up some pneumatic air blasters or something in it. I don't know. I haven't gotten that far yet. But I need to get the shape cut out and start getting this put together. So for right now, I've got a rafter up here, and what I'm going to do is get my measurements I need for the opening and my width, and I'm going to do a mimic on the plywood of the rafter. Not sure if it's showing up, and probably not, but I got a rafter drawn out onto the plywood. It's way bigger than the actual rafters in the on the mausoleum, but you know, it's the same shape, same design. What I'm going to do now, since I've got 2 sheets of plywood that both need to be cut out in the same shape, what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to run some screws through here to fasten the 2 sheets together. I'll get my handy jigsaw out and I'll get the shape cut out, and you can see the shape once it's cut out. Alright, there you go. All cut out. At least the face of it is. Like I said, I have both pieces screwed together, so I've got a mirror image now of the actual shape. My next step is getting the pieces spaced apart like that. And what I'm going to end up doing is using some 2x2s and just run a series of them across here to anchor both pieces into the width. I've also got to lay out on these where the tops of the pillars are going to be. I've got to do the same type of fastening on these for the pillars as I did for the entrance. So a little bit of mathematics coming in, but not much. About the end of the day, we made some progress. We got it framed up. Now, this surface here is not going to be skinned. You know, I want to open so I can get down in there because I'm thinking about doing something, and I'll get to that if I get to it. But I still need to get a piece of plywood here on both this end and that end, and then the underside all needs to be skinned yet. I gotta cut out the access to mount the pillars, the bracket for the pillars. I'm going to do the same style of bracket as I did on the other one. And that we'll work on hopefully next week. Well, we made it back from our first week in the farmers markets, and it is Tuesday, not Monday. We did make it home late Saturday or Sunday night. And I figure, well, you know, on the way home, Sue Ann and I were talking. And we're thinking, you know, this was such a busy weekend. It's going to be nice to get home and just relax. We didn't get much relaxation in. So, needless to say, I got up this morning and we had to mow the yard edge, you know, do some yard work and that type of the stuff. I got done with that about noon. It is now 3 o'clock. And I figured, well, I need to get something done on the mausoleum belt, which is what this vlog is supposed to be about. Come out here, get in the shop, and forgot I left it a freaking disaster area. Part of me is saying, screw it, turn the light off, lock the door, go back in the house and say, fuck it. And deal with it tomorrow. I think I am not going to do that. I am going to at least get the shop cleaned up. Let's see what we can get to in here. I need to move some stuff around, clean this area up. I think I'm going to put all the stuff sitting around into the storage shed, since I got most of the stuff out of there I need for the moment. Before I go back and work on the arch, I need to touch base on the boxes for the pillars. These rings, when I made them, these are what the pillars fit over so they don't slide all over the place, are slightly bigger than they need to be. Hence, the pillar, it's harder to get the pillars over them. When I made them, I should have ran them around on my disc sander over there to even them up and, you know, get them the right size. Problem was, I had everything from my storage locker stacked over there and the sander was buried, so I couldn't get to it. Well, now it's no longer buried. So I am going to work on these boxes a bit, take the circles off, sand them down, and then put them back on. And I'm going to do that after I clean up in here a little bit. Well, not too bad. Shop is clean. I can get in here and get stuff. I made the adjustments to the hoops. The pillars fit over the top of the hoops now. Way easier. So that's done. My next step is I got to get the table saw out again, so I can get one of the bigger sheets of plywood out, so I could cut the piece that fits on the bottom here. There, better look that way. I got to cut this piece of plywood that goes out here and get the hole punched into it for the top of the pillars. So we're going to work on that end and that end tomorrow, and probably get the ends wrapped tomorrow as well, and go from there. This arch here is going to be a pain in the butt to do. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do that yet. I don't know if I want to try doing it in one full sheet or not. But we can go with the flow. Well, we didn't do too terribly bad. We went and got it all the way skinned. It was quite a bit of work, a lot of different cuts. Plywood was too thick to bend it in to do one piece, so I just put it in segments, which kind of changed the shape a little bit on the arc, but that's fine. Once I get the foam in there, you probably won't even notice it anyway. But we got both the bottoms done, and we got both ends done. So it's totally skinned with the plywood. Next chore is here. I got these big squares here, and that's where the tops of the pillars fit. I've got to get this cut out and get it framed in to accept the pillars, which I'll hopefully have time to do tomorrow. Errands tomorrow, so I don't know how much time. But what I want to do is get those holes cut, framed in for the pillars, and then get it skinned so it can dry over the weekend. And then maybe next week we can start get into the carving process. Well, it's Thursday. Tomorrow we're on the road again. So I'm out here trying. Sorry, you had a wonky camera angle there. I gotta bring that goddamn selfie stick out here. But anyway, it's Thursday. We're on the road tomorrow, so I'm out here today trying to get some progress done on the arch. And I've made some progress. I've got the hole for the top of the pillars cut out and framed in. And give you a little bit of a look that way so you can see the framing in there. Fairly simple, fairly straightforward. I still have a piece of plywood that will go over here, so this doesn't fit, you know, go all the way through. I have to do that yet. And I did a slight change. I'm on the original one I did, you know, you can see I've got it finished there with the plywood and everything. When I traced out for this, I made it exact. And we're finding when you're lifting this up 7 feet in the air, trying to put it on top of the pillars, having it exact makes it a little bit harder to get that in the hole. So I did a little bit of a change. I cut this hole a 1/2 inch bigger all the way around, so it goes in easier, and there's a little bit of play in there too. So that will help a lot when I go to put this up on the pedestal. My next chore right now is I've got to get the cap in here, this plywood piece here, and I got to get it put into place. And then I'm hoping, if I have the energy, and energy is one thing I have not had, I can get to foaming. I'd like to get the foam attached and glued onto this thing before we go out of town. That way next week when I get back into town, we can hopefully start doing some carving, and I can get my shop put back together. My shop is very rarely ever put together for long, but that's kind of what we're working on right now. Figured I better give you guys an update. We got it wrapped in foam. Got the foam wrapped on it yesterday, dried overnight. I ran into some problems. I was going to do the arch part of it in one sheet, but it was to the point where I snapped the foam. So I cut out another piece, and I was thinking about heat treating it, you know, melting it a bit, you know, so it would flex in there and I could attach it down. Too much hassle. So I ended up doing the arch like I did with the plywood. I cut it into strips and just laid it in there. Ended up with some gaps up here between this piece and this piece. And I figure what I'm going to do is I spray great stuff in there. I'm going to let it set overnight and cure, and then I'll come back and sand it and get it shaped. And I also use the great stuff to fill in some of the wider cracks. But get that great stuff cleaned up and shaped tomorrow, and then I'll come back. I can come back through and start laying out the pattern both on this piece and on that piece, and we can get into carving. Whee! Alright, it has set overnight. All the great stuff has set up. So now I'm going to take a handy duty rasp. I'm going to go out, go through and level it off. Probably end up using a razor blade on part of it too to just knock it down. And then we can go from there. Alright, a little sideways action. I hadn't showed you it all the way set up on the pillars yet. And if I turn the camera this way, it don't work so well. At least this way you can see the whole thing. That's going to be our exit piece for the mausoleum. Now the only problem that we've got with the mausoleum and using this for an exit is the width of the base here. Right now with the way we have the exit for the mausoleum configured, there's a 1 foot or so panel at the end on either side, and these bases are way bigger than that. So it's going to be offsetting past the mausoleum a bit, which is fine. Now our next step in here is to get this in and get the pattern sketched out on it and get the foam carved. I got to do it with this piece and the entrance piece as well. Now on the entrance piece, it's going to have the gargoyle sitting up there with the eyes. With this one, I am thinking about putting some air blasters in. Just small ones, you know, radiate them through the arch here to point down. That way as people come in, they get blasted, or if they go through a little bit quicker, maybe have a couple of them, you know, aimed out this way to hit them in the back. One of the two. That way when they all fire, they either go down or out. So they get hit with it. And that's something, if I decide to do it, I can do later, and it'll be real easy. Just all I gotta do is just drill a hole through here and put the tubing in, and then hook it up to a single two-way solenoid. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to try putting any lights on this or not. I've been halfway thinking about doing lights too. But for right now, I got to get this taken down. And actually, I need to get the set dresser out here to look at it. And then we'll get it taken down, get in the shop, and start sketching out the pattern. Both on the entrance and on this one, this face here, I know the pattern I want to do. For the underside, on the entrance, I got the underside figured out. You know, this part in here on the entrance, but on this one, I'm not sure what I want to do in here yet. I haven't figured that one out yet. Get to it when we get to it, I guess. I got one of the lintels carved and finished. It's ready for painting, and it was the arch. And give you a look at the top. And I went and did the water and heat gun effect in here to kind of roughen it up. And I had a problem I knew I was going to have. I did a series of sheets on the arch, which means I had seams running down. And when I took the heat gun to it, some of the seams pulled apart to the point where you could see the plywood down in there, and that would have looked just weird. So I've gone back through with great stuff, and I have filled the seams back up with that. Once it's set up overnight and dried, I could come back in here with a piece of sandpaper and kind of smooth it out and blend it in. And then once it's painted, you won't even notice it. So got a little bit more work that way, about 10-15 minutes worth of work. Other than that, she's ready for paint. So I can set this thing off to the side for now, and we can get started on this one. I don't even have the pattern laid out on it yet. With this one, I am going to mimic the design of the top part of the mausoleum. So I'll have some trim pieces going down through, or going down the peaks around the outside edge. The rest of it's going to be brick. That should be real quick, simple, and easy to do. I do have one fix, which I mentioned in the last vlog, and that is back here on the back side edge. I put too much foam on. I was supposed to leave a 3-inch strip here of just bare plywood, because that's what overlaps onto the mausoleum wall, and we're going to use that to anchor it to the mausoleum. So I'm going to have to cut that away as well, and it's going to be fun. Alright, last segment, I promise. At least for this vlog. You notice I look a little wet. It's because it's sweat. It's cooled down a little bit. It was 98 outside earlier. It's down to 94. Clouds have moved in. It's hot because it's 5 to 10 degrees hotter in the shop than it is outside. Putting finishing touches on this. We got it all carved. And if you look at this, this is one of the exterior panels for the mausoleum. Brought it in here so I could duplicate this. And that's where Gargi is going to sit. But anyway, I wanted the face of it to resemble the mausoleum, and it's going to be getting painted the same colors. Pillars and blocks are being painted a different color. And I'll go into that in the next vlog, because the next vlog is going to be paint. I also just got done going through any place where I had a washer and screw on the foam, while the foam was, the glue on the foam was drying. I went through and put some caulking and stuff in. It needs to dry overnight, which is fine because of all the heat out here. I've done. I've pretty much Now I gotta get in here, straighten up, clean up, put some of my stuff away. Our next step is going to be painting, and that's going through all the pieces for this project and base coating them white first as a base coat. I got a ball rolling around. Someone's wanting to play. Huh? Huh? You wanting to play? Anyway, that's all I've got for this vlog. Carving and stuff's officially done. We're ready to move into paint, which is going to be the next clip, or not next clip, next vlog. It's been a while since I've had anything up, posted anything, so I'm going to get this going, get all this footage edited down, and get it posted. So we shall see you in the next vlog. Stay spooky and stay toxic.